All right. Hey, y'all. Hey, what is going on? What's up, y'all? Happy Word Power Wednesday. It's time, y'all. As you know, this is where we come every single week, every Wednesday, uh, to learn words. Really, the power of our words, to talk about the power of our words. And there's some words that we need to keep in our vocabulary, and there are some words that we need to use differently. And there are some words that we need to absolutely eliminate from our vocabulary. And so we come here every week to talk about those and how we can make sure that we use the words that come out of our mouth in a powerful way. One thing that's true is we fully understand that our words have power, and the life that we live, we create it with our words, okay? So before I start, I want to ask you to, if you're not already, I want you to subscribe to this page. All right. I want you to hit that subscribe button so that anytime I drop a video that you will be aware. I have been regularly dropping videos over here that I pray adds value to you. And so if you want to be aware of when those things drop, I want you to hit subscribe, as well as turn on, there's a little bell there, click that and turn on your notifications so you'll get notified anytime I go live. Also, if anything I say today blesses you, I want you to share this video with a friend. Like and share. All right. All right. So our word for the day is hurry. All right. And I'm going to do my best to not do that. All right. So if you have ever been the type of person that has, and most of us are, most people have a to-do list that is a mile long. You know, any adult that you ask, adults have things to do. They have responsibilities, things they're responsible for, and things that simply need to get done. So these to-do lists can get lengthy. We can find ourselves in a place where we have a whole lot to do all the time. And that can be pretty overwhelming. That can be overwhelming because sometimes you wonder, like, how will I get all of these things done in the time that I have available? And usually when life is like this, you're asking yourself, like, how can I get it all done? How can I do things more efficiently? How can I, or is it possible to be fully present and productive at the same time? Because I think we will admit that there are times when we are one or the other, but it's really an art to learn how to do both at the same time. So before I get started, I want to tell you what the word hurry means, okay? Before I need to give a disclaimer, because I know there's somebody saying, you know, sometimes, because when you think about the word hurry, it does mean to have a sense of urgency about things. And so there are times in our lives where we do need to have a sense of urgency. So there's some decisions that need to be made, and there's not a lot of time to process the information before the window of opportunity closes, right? So there's some tasks, some moves we need to make in our lives that we need to have a sense of urgency where we don't need to act like every day is promised to us. So that's not what I'm talking about, okay? So one definition for the word hurry is a state of eagerness or urgency or rush, all right? Another definition is to move or act with haste. The word haste just sounds like it's too much, okay? Just the word alone to me sounds like it can be a lot because haste means to have excessive speed or urgency of movement, right? So it means like working feverishly. So this is not just a normal, like, let me pick up the pace here. This is a feverish hustle and bustle, right? With great haste. It also means disturbed or disorderly activity or commotion. It means agitated or often bustling or disorderly haste. So not only is haste feverish and excessive, this is disorder tacked on top of that, all right? Hurry means to impel, to rash or precipitate action, right? And I looked up the word precipitate, and it means like falling or rushing with a steep downfall. We just gonna stop right there. It means to impel to rash or precipitate action, meaning pushing you to hurried or rash action or action that's going to cause you to fall quickly. My. All right. So just those definitions alone. All right. Agitated, often bustling or disorderly haste, commotion, disturbed activity or disorderly activity, impelled to rash action or action that's going to lead to a steep descent is what the word precipitate means. Okay. Those are things that I'm for sure, absolutely certain this ain't what God wants us to do in life. Okay. So let me give you these synonyms so we can talk about why does it matter? Why do we need to dig into this? And why do we need to get an understanding of why this word, and even more than the word, the activity should not be a part of our life. All right. So synonyms are haste, bustle, confusion, commotion, hustle, urgency, agitation, rush, race, scramble, scurry, and speed. Okay. Now let's talk about why this matters. Why are we having this conversation? Okay. So this is the first thing I need you to know. When you are in a hurry or in a rushed state, when you're scurrying or hustling or bustling or agitated or, operating in excessive speed, right? You do not get the opportunity to be fully present, like present in a way where you can take the time to appreciate life, all the things that are part of your life, and everything that's happening around you, all right? Because you're going from this thing to that thing to this thing to that thing, you never get a chance to stop, per se, and smell the roses because you're constantly moving at an excessive speed, all right? Also, when you are doing that and you're moving in a way that's excessive and speedy and urgent and a lot of commotion, the quality of your decision making and the way you perform is going to suffer. So when you have a liability or damage in the area of your decision making or your performance, the quality of your life is at stake. And so this is why it matters that we really look at this word and really the action, and that we pause and figure out how can we avoid doing this in our lives. Okay. This is all about being able, again, as I say many times, when you understand being able to lead yourself, that makes you fit to lead others. All right. So this hurry, this hustle, this bustle, it's an area of our lives that we have to get together because it's not just affecting us, it's affecting the people around us. Okay. So here's what I want you to know about. I'm going to give you 4 things that I want you to know about how hurry affects the quality of life that you will have. All right. So we already talked about the fact that your performance and your decision making, they suffer, they take a hit when you're hurrying. And that affects your quality of life. How you say? What do you mean, Tanisha? When you are hurrying, the first thing that is affected is the condition of your mind. Hurrying risks your mental health, all right? Because hustle, bustle, rushing, hurrying, it creates stress, anxiety. Some people say, oh, I'm so stressed. Oh, I have so much anxiety, right? The truth is, the more responsibilities the more things you agree to do, or the more things that you allow to go on your plate, the more responsibilities you're going to have. So then your life becomes this sort of balancing act where, you're trying to do all of these things, and almost if like something falls apart, one thing falls apart, everything comes crashing down. Everything falls apart, right? Also, because you don't have time to enjoy life. So joy is God's desire for us, right? And it directly affects the condition of our mind. So when you don't have time to enjoy life, you don't have time for the things that bring you pleasure or that make you happy. And hustle and bustle makes you tired, like in your soul. It wears you down. in a way that your soul, not just your body, but your soul is tired. So you experience mental exhaustion, lack of joy, all right? It's no wonder people are saying things like, I feel overwhelmed, I feel stressed, I feel anxious, all right? Also, so that's number one. Hurry affects the condition of your mind. Next, it affects the condition of your body. All right. When you're right, first of all, when you have all these responsibilities, you got all these things that you need to do. More than likely, it's going to be difficult for you to maintain a regular sleep schedule. Lack of sleep, worrying about stuff all the time. You probably won't have time to exercise or eat right. It's not going to be a good recipe. All right. So when you don't have the ability to slow down and infuse taking care of yourself and your health, not only will you be tired mentally, but your body will be tired. You'll be physically tired. All right. So here we go. When I'm mentally tired and I'm physically tired, I am not my best self. Therefore, I am not performing as well as I honestly could have. Okay. The third thing that is affected by us hurrying is the condition of our relationships. You're like, how, Tanisha? Tell me more. So what happens when we hurry all the time, our relationships are what I call like disconnected. All right. So being you know, what's the word I'm looking for? Because I don't want to say busy. Having a lot of responsibilities does not indicate that one needs to hurry all the time. All right. But when you have so many things that you have to get done, that becomes your focus. All right. Your focus becomes on me and how am I going to get all these things that I have on my plate? How will I get them done? All right. So what happens is you're not a superhero. So there's only so many things you're going to be able to do. Right. And so there will be some neglect or some things about your relationship that won't receive your attention. So your relationships with people in your life, the people that God has gifted you with, but also with God is affected by all of the hurry. All right. So when you're busy blowing and going and doing all things, moving from here to there, you cannot hear God over all of the noise. All right. And so you can't hear God, right? So he doesn't get to fool you. Then when you're with people, you are not fully present, so they don't get to fool you. So not only are you mentally exhausted, you physically exhausted, and now you are spiritually and relationally exhausted. All right. Y'all catching the rhythm here? Do you see the pattern? Do you see the pattern that hurry leads to a form of exhaustion? All right. So the fourth thing, and the reason why all of this matters is hurry affects the condition of your fruit. So when I read in Genesis where God says, be fruitful and multiply, what God is really saying is, I expect for you to be productive. I expect for you to produce something. All right. But when you're hurrying all the time, what's going to be affected is your ability to make noticeable or sustainable progress and your ability to produce or be productive. All right. I believe that all of this comes from the hurry, and all of its effects comes from a lack of clarity. All right. So one of the reasons why we're so busy and we're so hurried is because we don't have direction in our life. So we're not really sure about what we're supposed to be doing, why we're doing it, what's our purpose, right? Because when you get clear on that, right, you are going to start to make more intentional decisions. It will become so clear to you what things you can say yes to and what things you need to say no to. All right. And so this is how we decide what goes on the plate. All right. So there's some of us, we're not sure about what we're not sure. We're supposed to be pleasing the job, or we're supposed to be pleasing our husband, our children, the man, our friends, God. Who can we make happy today? We're not sure. But when you get some level of clarity, right, which is why you have to stop all the noise so that you can be in relationship and conversation with God, but also people who can pour into you. All right. And once you start to get clear on your purpose, you're going to be more intentional about your decisions, right? And it'll be easier for you to give out some no's because you'll fully understand yes to this means no to that. All right. So what hurry does for you is it makes you less productive. So rushing don't make you more productive. Haste does not create productivity. That's a post right there. That's the graphic right there. Okay. Haste does not necessarily equal productivity. All right. So when we're running from this thing to this thing, you never really fully accomplish anything because you're doing these things versus giving your direct and concentrated focus to something. All right. So you barely accomplish this, and then now you run on to the next thing. All right. Also, hurry makes you like prone to be less careful or to make more mistakes. So more mistakes will be made when we're rushing. Okay. So these are the 4 ways that hurry really affects your quality of life. All right. So we've already said that hurry really messes up your performance and your ability to make sound decisions, all right? And how you perform and the decisions you make about what you're going to be performing at will have they're in direct correlation with the quality of life that you will be, all right? So hurry will affect the condition of your mind. It'll also affect the condition of your body. It affects the condition of your relationships, and it affects the condition of your fruits. All right. So this is why we cannot afford. This is why we cannot, and cannot afford to be rushing and hurrying. And it doesn't mean that you will not steward, manage, or be responsible for the things that God has called you to do and that He has put in your life. All right. But it does mean that you will understand that you don't have to be running like a chicken with your head cut off to get it done. All right. So let's talk about how we do this. Okay. I want to give you 4. I had more than 4. I'm gonna leave it at 4. Okay. because I never give more than this little hack. I never give more than like 4, 5 is pushing it. All right. Because I want to give you things that you can take. And when we get off of this live, when you're done watching this, I want you to be able to put them in action. So if I give you 10 things to do, you're not gonna do them. You're not gonna do them. You might pick one and you might do that one, but I want you to think about these 4 ways to remove hustle and bustle out of your life. All right. The first thing I want you to do is give up multitasking. Give up multitasking. All right. Now, I know we live in a world, this is a personal lesson I had to learn. We live in a world where you read any level of resumes or anybody vying for a job, a common word that I would see was on my resume. And when I worked in human resources, I saw it on multiple resumes. Okay. Excellent multitasker, right? Because we live in a world that wants you to be able to juggle all these things at one time. And so when we think about giving up multitasking, it seems counterintuitive to what the world will tell you. I believe that you should learn to become super focused. And so this is what I had to tell myself. I'm not a great multitasker, but I am excellent at executing, keeping focused on one thing, getting it done, and moving to the next thing. Now, I will say, there are some things that you can do. There was a concept that I used to use when I was a teacher. It's a time management concept called batching, where you take 2, tasks that don't require a lot of mental capacity and you do them at the same time. So I might call my mom while I'm folding laundry. So I've gotten 2 tasks out of the way. It doesn't take much mental capacity for me to fold clothes. And then I can, have a great time laughing and yucking it up with my mom. All right. So I'm not saying don't batch. I'm saying if it's something that's lower mental capacity, you can do 2 of them things together. Great. All right. But I'm saying for the majority of your tasks, you need to learn to become super focused on one task at a time, be efficient at zoning in, focusing, and getting that thing done so that you can move on to the next thing. All right. So the myth or the delusion is we think that multitasking makes us more productive, but what it does create for us is stress, less focus, and it makes us frazzled. All right. So what I want you to do is I want you to start paying attention to the things that get your attention. All right. What are the people, the things, and the situations that are getting your time and attention? All right. Take some time and just acknowledge, pay attention to what is getting your attention. All right. And then I want you to ask yourself, does there need to be any changes there? Are there some things that you are paying attention to, whether it's a situation or somebody else's personal issue, or that does not require your time and attention and is really taking up time for you to deal with other responsibilities that you have? All right. So the first thing I want you to do is to give up multitasking. All right. This next thing I'm about to say, some people ain't gonna like it, so I need y'all to get ready. Okay, everybody, come on, let's get ready because I'm about to say it. I'm about to tell you a little truth serum. All right. Hold on, phone down. Put your phone down. All right. These phones have us in a chokehold. All right. As soon as we hear the thing go ding, we got to check. We got to see what is it. All right. It's got control of us. All right. I want you to take some time. So first I want you to put some boundaries and some control, some self-control, some discipline around your relationship with your phone so that you use it like the tool it's supposed to be instead of the phone controlling you. All right. Sucking up your time and sucking up your energy resources. All right. Sucking up your brain power. All right. These are things you can do instead. Why don't you FaceTime with the people who sit right there in front of you? Why we got to have an app protocol and FaceTime and we got people in the room with us? FaceTime with the people that's right there in front of you. All right. So what you focus on showing this phone. Who run who? Do the phone run you or do you run the phone? All right. Now I know you wondering, what am I gonna do when I get bored? Connect with people. Like I said, talk to the people around you. Just be present in the moment and have genuine and honest conversations. Quality time. Things we used to do before we got these devices. All right. So I really want to challenge you to focus on putting your phone down. Create, not to say you won't ever use your phone. I think phones are amazing. My phone does amazing things for me, but I had to learn to create boundaries. So one boundary I have, I was talking to somebody the other day and she said, I was going to call you, but I felt like it was too late. And I'm glad she didn't because I think that that's respectful, to acknowledge like it's probably too late to call this person. But I told her, honey, I wouldn't have got your call if you had a call because the boundary I have this little thing called sleep on my phone and everybody can't get through. All right? Everybody can't get through. When I'm in my prayer and devotion time, I use the mess out of those focus times. You can text all day. All right. This thing is on do not disturb. I have one literally called Time Alone with God. And it happened when somebody texted me one day and I was in church. And I found myself being a little agitated, like, you know, I was at church. You know, I was at church. You texted me, I was at church. And what God gave me is it's not their responsibility to know where I am, but it's my responsibility to let them know when they can come in. All right. So if I don't want to be disturbed during the time that I'm at church, this phone has an amazing application called Do Not Disturb. So I literally have it set to based on my location so that when I arrive at church, it turns on. And then when I leave, it turns off. And I have succeeded at my goal of not being disturbed while I'm in God's house because I'm trying to hear this word. Not only am I trying to hear the word, I'm trying to fellowship with my church members, my church family. I'm serving, right? So I really need not to be disturbed by the outside world. All right. Now I know somebody's saying, but what if it's an emergency? Like, what if something happened? They're gonna need you, and how will they get you? An emergency could happen, and somebody could be trying to reach me. That could happen. What I had to learn to do is stop being a superhero. So that's number 3. Stop trying to be a superhero. Now, let me be clear, because I know I teach that we have superpowers, and we do. Superpowers are the unique attributes and gifts that God has given each of us to complete the assignment that He has for us. All right? But ultimately, God is the ultimate superhero. So there could be an emergency. Jesus took his time when his friend died. Surely death was an emergency for those people who were around. That was some sort of emergency. Jesus did not. He took his time. I even read that when Jesus went to the temple and flipped over the tables, I read that he went there the night before. and he decided to wait until morning. Almost like Jesus said, okay, this could wait. I don't have to deal with this right now. But when I come up in here tomorrow, I'm going to flip all these tables up. I'm going to handle my business when I come back. All right? So there might be an emergency, but God can do more with the emergency than I ever could. All right? I'm not supposed to be everything to everybody, and neither are you. We are not God, and we are not responsible for saving everybody. All right? So if you're unable to do it, they will figure it out. And guess who's going to help them figure it out? God. All right? So now there are people who have, let me tell a story first, then I'm going to tell you. There are people in my life who have stewarded their relationship with me in a way that I am aware that they will manage that access well. And so if they're calling me at 2:30, it must be an emergency. So there are a group of people who can get through, but it's not everybody. It's not everybody. So you have to be able to discern, like, where should these people be placed, and who are the people that God has assigned me to? Who is my responsibility? And it's not everybody. So I wanted to share a story. A couple of years ago, I went to this spirit. It was a spiritual retreat, right? And I didn't really know what to expect. It was a weekend situation, and you're away from home and you're staying there, and you have these activities that you're doing, and it's supposed to be a transformational encounter with God by the time you leave. And so we get there, and everything's going along. We're kicking everything off, and I just recall them saying, "No pressure, not mandatory, but highly recommended. We really want you to." And they said that more than one time. "We want you to turn in your phones." And there was the staff people walking around. They had these baskets with people's phones in them, and they looking like, "You want to give me your phone?" And I'm looking like, "I most certainly do not. I do not." And my thoughts were, I have children. I have a husband. I'm not at home. So I was several hours away from home. Like, it would have taken me hours to drive home. I'm going to need my phone, because if there's an emergency, my family going to need me. But it was something about how I felt in my heart, the attachment that I felt to the phone, as if I couldn't let it go, that wouldn't allow me to rest. They make the offer, they make the ask, and they say, "Here's the basket to put your phone in if you want to give it up." All right? They say, "Here's the basket." And it's optional, but they remind you, it's very highly encouraged. And they give you the reasons why, so you can be available to hear the voice of God. You won't be distracted and all these things. They have like a line that people can call if it's an emergency. So you can take the time to text your family, say, "If you need me, call this number." They'll make sure they get to you. You won't be, in the dark. But it wasn't easy. It wasn't easy for me to let that phone go. It was not easy, but there was something about the way I felt about how bad I wanted to hold on to the phone, that the Holy Spirit prompted me and said, "You have to do it. Like, you have to do it." So I initially did it thinking, I asked, if I do this and I tell y'all, "Hey, I want my phone back," y'all can give me my phone back? And they were like, "Absolutely, you can get your phone back," right? So I surrendered my phone on a Thursday, and I did not see that thing until Sunday when we left. And when I tell you, that weekend was one of the most transformational experiences that I've ever had with God, like encounters that I've ever had with God, that I know I would have missed if I would have had my phone in my presence. All right? Even just the quiet time in between the sessions, talking to God, when we would go back to our room that night, I was really able to meditate on and think about the things that we had learned those days. A lot of emotional stuff came up during the retreat. I was able to process emotions. It was one of the times when I most clearly heard the voice of God in my life, with specific instructions from God. And I know it's because I didn't have that phone. And so I just you may not have an encounter like this, but if you just let that phone go, I promise you, you can hear what God is calling you to do and telling you to do, and you will be very clear on which emergencies belong to you and which ones don't. All right? So that's number 3. Stop trying to be a superhero. So number 1, stop multitasking. Number 2, put the doggone phone down. Get some boundaries around with you and that phone. It's the tool. You're supposed to be the boss of the phone. The phone is supposed to be the boss of you. Ask yourself who's running the show. All right. Stop trying to be a superhero. God is the ultimate superhero, and if you tap into Him and listen to Him, He gonna tell you what to do, and you ain't gotta save everybody. Okay. Then number 4, relax. This is how we can get the hurry out. Just like you schedule everything else in your life, I'm gonna need you to schedule some time to rest. I need you to schedule some time to have some fun. Like we take life way too serious, and I have been guilty. I have looked at my schedule like all work and no play makes Tanisha James a dull girl, right? Because my schedule was full of task after task after task after task after task. There's no rest. There's no restoration. There's nothing. There's no fun. It's just, baby, um, task after task. And it was other people who started noticing and said something to me, right? God intends for us to enjoy life. It's not, we are supposed to produce. Don't get me wrong. God expects our productivity. He expects our excellence. He expects us to be fruitful. All right. But He created us and all of these wonderful gifts around us so that we can enjoy life. So I want to ask you, when was the last time you let yourself just let your hair down and have a healthy distraction? I ain't telling you to do no unhealthy stuff, all right? But a healthy distraction. And it looks like whatever it looks like for you. All right? Is it a bubble bath? Is it going for a walk? Like for me, it's a nap. Okay? On a day like today, when it's raining, a blanket, a Snuggie, a heater, and a book. If I didn't have, now I got I don't know if anybody used to watch the show Rugrats. Angelica used to say, was it Tommy? I got responsibilities today. So I have responsibilities today. But if it show up like this tomorrow, I'm going to take a nap. Okay? And that's going to be so much fun. That's going to be so much fun. All right? So what's it look like? So think about my daughter turned 13. I think I went live. I don't think I put it on YouTube, but I think I went live on Instagram or Facebook. My daughter turned 13 a few months ago. And she wanted to go to this skating place. They have skating and bowling, all the games, all the things for the kids to do, like an activity center. And I don't know why, but then I said, you know what? I think I'm going to get on some skates. Now, mind you, hadn't been on the skates since I am from St. Louis, Missouri, and where I am from, skating is a big deal. Like, it is what you do. I never developed into one of those, usher type skaters, never was able to do that. But I would get out there and hobble my way along. You understand what I'm saying? And I have not done that. Probably I left home when I was 17 to come to college. So I have been living here for 30 years. That's probably how long it's been since I've been on skates. I would say maybe once or twice I may have gone back home in my college years, but it's been decades, at least 25 years since I've been on skates. So my daughter has this partner. I said, you know what? I think I'm going to get on skates today. Y'all, I got on them skates. When I tell you, I had so much fun. And the whole time, I had this kind of nervousness, like, I hope I don't fall. I said, I hope I don't fall, because you know what they say. If you fall at a certain age, it's going to hurt. Yeah, I fell a couple of times and got back up, and praise God for this body I've been taking care of, because I wasn't hurting that in the least. So that motivated me to keep on taking care of this body, because I need to be able to fall sometime, okay? And get back up, all right? I'm not trying to fall, but if I do, I need to be able to get back up, and I don't need it to affect me for many days. But y'all, when I tell y'all I had so much fun, okay, when we got there, the little ticket, they gave you like a 4-hour window that you could skate. It was like 3 or 4 hours that you could skate. And when I got there, I'm just trying to check a box. It's my baby birthday. This is what she want to do. I didn't already set the time. We out of here by 4 o'clock. Okay, we out. I'm like, we gonna, how long can you skate? How long can you bowl? Whip it around the rink a couple of times, throw the ball, and let's get on out of here and go get something to eat. That's what I was thinking. Y'all, I got on them skates, so my husband comes later. 4:30. I said, before we leaving, 4:30, my husband like, you ready? I'm like, not yet. I'm having a great time. 5 o'clock. Not yet. I'm having a great time. 5:30, my husband was like, let's go. Okay. I had so much fun skating, and it reminded me how much I forget to put fun on my calendar. I wasn't thinking about no tasks, responsibilities, duties, none of that. Y'all, I had so much fun. When was the last time you did that? When was the last time you just had a great time? And I'm not talking about like, I'm talking about things that when you're done, you feel restored, you feel recharged. That's what I'm talking about. Okay. So learn to relax and have some fun. God wants you to enjoy this life, every blessing, but this life that He has given you. All right. We're supposed to be enjoying it. All right. So in the midst of your productivity and getting all the things done, I'm going to need you to schedule some time to have a little fun. All right. So run them back again. Give up multitasking. Put your doggone phone down. Stop trying to be everybody's superhero and relax and let your hair down and have a little fun. All right. So before I go, I want to say I looked and I couldn't find anywhere in the Bible. I really was intentional about like, please, where's the example of Jesus rushing? And I couldn't find a single story about Jesus rushing. If y'all know one, please let me know because I looked and I couldn't find it. And even if you find one, the fact that I have had to look so hard, I couldn't find any stories about Jesus rushing. I couldn't find any stories about Jesus being in haste, bustling, grinding, moving at an excessive speed, right? I couldn't find it. I couldn't find it, all right? Now, Jesus had a lot of responsibilities, all right? He wasn't a lazy person. He had things to do, but he wasn't rushing. Jesus is out here performing miracles left and right, and he still managed to take naps, spend time with his friends and his inner circle. He always had somewhere to go and something to do, but he did not feel the need to be frazzled. All right. I need for us to adopt the same mindset about what we're doing in life. Yes, we have lots of responsibilities. God has called each of us to do something, and it does require some productivity, organization, and management of our time. But at the same time, not one time did God say He wanted us to be rushing and in a hurry. So what I need you to hurry up and do is slow down. Find some ways in your life using the 4 things that I just gave you so that you can hurry up and slow down. I need you to hurry up and slow down. All right? Trusting that the things that you need to do when you are moving at a pace where you have the ability to hear from God, He gonna tell you which one of these things He really wants you to do. Because sometimes my to-do list don't match His to-do list. Sometimes I got a lot of stuff on my to-do list that God ain't told me to do none of it. So I have learned I can't even write out the to-do list without talking to Him. Because Lord, am I supposed to be really doing this? All right. So as we focus on, our goals and taking things to the next level, making 2024 the best year ever, I want that for you. Like, I really want that for you. I'm so serious about what God has called me to do in the lives of people as I help them get serious about consistently winning the day so that they can achieve the goals that God has for them and that they have for themselves. All right. So in my coaching program, that is what I do. I teach you how to be the best version of yourself so that you can show up consistently in an excellent way every day. All right. So if you find yourself struggling with that, how do I show up? How do I know which things to say yes to, which things to say no to? What are the things I'm supposed to be doing? I want to invite you to my masterclass. Just go to Happy New Year Now. The link is right there. www.happy new year now. And the reason why I say that is because you don't need a new year to have a new you. The year started 24 days ago, and you might not have got off to the start that you wanted. You can say Happy New Year whenever you want to. You can have a January 1st moment any day of the year. You do not have to wait for the year to close. But you do need to be aware of how the time is passing so that we don't end up next year in the same place where we are now. So if you're looking to move from where you are now to where you know God has called you to be, I want to invite you to attend my free masterclass, no charge to you, free masterclass, happynewyearnow.com to register. All right. I love you all the way to life, and I will see you next week. I want you guys to drop in the comments which one of these resonated with you. So which one of these like examples of her you see in your life, and what's one thing you're gonna do to get this hurry out of your life? The last thing I want to say before I go, and the reason why this word came up for me is in my accountability group, the Success Squad. This is the book we're reading. It's probably in reverse. It's called The Ruthless Elimination of Hurry by John Mark Comer. one of the best books I have ever read. We'll be reading this together in my accountability group for the month of February. So if you want to join us, just go to happynewyearnow.com to register, and I'll give you all the details about how you can hop in with us. All right. All right. I love y'all. Y'all have a great week, and I'll see you next week.